Hi gang, Jerry from Ebbets here again, and as you might know, we offer over 250 historic baseball caps on our website at any given time, and we just got in about 24 different styles that we are restocking currently. I thought it might be fun to talk about the features and the history behind a few of them that have come back in. And as you probably know, we pride ourselves when we make a historic hat. It really is a historic hat. We're not just making a contemporary hat with a, vintage logo on it like some other companies do. So I thought we'd get into it and talk a little bit about a few of these. First up, this is the Homestead Grays cap from, I think, 1938. And this is an 8-panel cap. Well, why is that significant? 8-panel caps were worn by a minority of professional teams up through about the late 1940s. And really the difference is just what the title means. It's 8 panels as opposed to 6 panels. That's the standard baseball cap configuration. So this particular hat is pretty great. It's got the piping between the panels, we call that soutache, felt lettering, of course. Another 8-panel hat, we go all the way back to 1915, the Chicago Whales of the Federal League. Now, those of you who know your baseball history, the last time a league challenged the hegemony of the two major leagues was 1914 and 15, a league called the Federal League. What was significant about the Federal League? Well, one thing that came out of it was Wrigley Field in Chicago, originally built for this club, the Chicago Whales. And when the Federal League folded, the Whales bought the Chicago Cubs, and the Cubs moved in to what later became known as Wrigley Field. Weigman Park was the original name. Let's talk about Jackie Robinson, one of our favorite historic players, of course, and the significance of this cap is this is the cap he wore in his first year in organized ball with the Montreal Royals, the Brooklyn Dodgers top affiliate in the International League. And couple of curious notes about this year. One, people have noticed over the years that the M we put on the hat is different from the M in some other photos. Well, the fact is neither one is right or wrong. They used multiple styles and variations of the M in the same season. Not really that unusual for the time. Uniforms and things like that were not really treated quite as seriously as they are today, particularly in the minor leagues. You can often find a team photo where one or two players will have a non-conforming uniform. The hat will be a little different. The spacing of the lettering or the style of the lettering on the jersey will be a little different. Very, very common. The other thing that's a mystery is in spring training in '46, Robinson is often pictured wearing what is obviously a hand-me-down Brooklyn Dodgers satin uniform. So the satin uniforms were worn by a few major league teams in the 40s for night games. And the Montreal Royals obviously had taken the Dodgers lettering off the white satin jersey and put Royals on it. The mystery part is that unlike the Dodgers, who wore their normal wool cap with the satin uniforms, the Royals had white satin matching caps. So even though they were using hand-me-down uniforms, they went out of their way to make a special satin cap to go with the satin uniform, which is in fact a hand-me-down from Brooklyn. And then we move over to the Columbus Redbirds from the American Association. And gorgeous embroidery on this hat. A couple of things about this hat I want to talk about. People ask about the soft visor. This is the soft visor as opposed to the standard visor, which obviously stiffer. Now, this is not a quality defect. I think people who are not used to vintage caps, who are unaware maybe of the construction of the period, for example, the soft crown, rather than the stiff crown, These visors were made of a pliable material. The players could actually fold them up and stick them in their pocket, pull them out. The other significant thing is we all know Branch Rickey from Jackie Robinson's story when he was with the Brooklyn Dodgers and signed Jackie. But before he was with the Dodgers, he was with the St. Louis Cardinals. And one of his innovations then was the modern farm system. So most people don't realize that in the early days, minor leagues were basically independent teams that sold players to major league teams. Branch Rickey he was a cheapskate. He didn't like having to pay for players. So his genius idea was if we controlled all the minor league teams under one umbrella and we can teach them, skills, bunting, running, stealing, etc., all the same way in a uniform fashion, they'd not only save money, but they'd have an organization where all the players who came up to the big leagues had been basically taught the same baseball philosophy. And he decided to name all the teams in their minor league system either Cardinals or Redbirds. So that's where you got Columbus Redbirds. Branch Rickey, fascinating guy. He went from the Cardinals to the Dodgers. Was sort of pushed out of the Dodgers later by Walter O'Malley, who moved them to LA, of course, and also spent some time with the Pittsburgh Pirates. But many, many baseball innovations can be tied to Branch Rickey. So we have a great group of hats today. Check them on the website. There's stories with all the hats. We got about 24 in stock that we've had low inventory on for quite a while. And thanks for spending some time with us.